Started the third exhibition tilt here for their final exhibition game for the Bulls here in Cortland against Cortland Homer. Starting the game here, we got Ryan Shepard, Brock Malzak, Rapley, Joe Pierce, and Rockland Silsby. Carter has it behind the net. Malzak put pressure on the corner, jumps out to the point. Shepard puts pressure on the point shot. Off Reed Furman starting in Golden Knights off his blocker. Tipped up, Malzak's skating by. Gets in, takes a shot, glove save, knocked down by the goalie, covered up. Face off in the zone, out to Pierce at the point. Over to Silsby. Silsby has it. Looks to pass, shot on goal. Gets blocked down by the defender. Cortland trying to clear. Shepard pressure. Lift the stick by Malzak. Dumps it over. Pierce has it. Passes over Silsby. Back to Pierce. Tries to dump it up Malzak. Lifts his stick. Rapley comes through. Gets in the zone. Shot. Off the blocker. Shepard gets behind. Out to Pierce. Pierce has it. Tries to get it, dump it deep. Gets picked over by Cortland. Malzak picks it off the skates. The defender. Cortland turns it over, gets a turnover. Skates in the zone. Silky pokes, can't. Furman block. Tipped out by Rapley. Mason Little on the ice. Tristan White. Nolan Rowan. They dump it around. Dump it back around. Pierce. Behind the net. Lifts the stick, puts him in the boards, up to White. White over to Roland. Roland skating it up. Furman on the ice. Doris on the ice for defense. Mid-ice, Cortland comes out with it. White lifts the stick. Cortland dumps it behind. Doris after it. Tips over to Little. Little skating it out. Up to Roland, over to Little. Little at mid-ice. Dumps it deep. Roland chasing. Little chasing. Roland turns it over. Pinned against the board. White goes over to help. Dumps it deep to Little. Little in front off a stick. Redirected. Covered up by the goalie. Changes for Cortland and Big and Broom. Got Mazzio, Terrell, Fallon, Brady Saban out there, and exhibition debut of Chris Pierce out there, number 34. Over to Fallon. Fallon skates around, tries to dump it over. Nobody home. Cortland skates out with it. Saban and Fallon back. Shot off the blocker. Furman dumps it in front off his pad. Fallon dumps it mid-ice. Cortland dumps it deep. Saban after it. Dumps it over to Pierce. Pierce gets out of the corner. Tries to clear, can't. Shot high and wide. Terrell comes out with it. Cortland has it. Over the net. Fallon comes after it. Cortland dumps it deep. Saban after it. At the ref's feet. Dumps it over to nobody. Cortland has it. Skating with it. Gets it deep in the corner to the middle. Shot wide. Terrell has it. Tries to get this out of the zone. Can't. Cortland dumps it in the opposite corner. To the point. Shot wide. Mazzio putting pressure. Cortland dumps it deep. Shot at the TV. To the point. Shot. Wide. Saban comes out with it, skating it. Dumps it deep. Changes coming out. Harrison on the ice. McAbee on the ice. And debut of Larkin Bianco out there, number 12. Turned over behind that. Net comes off. Owen Harrison, Lucas Lavish, McAbee, Bianco, and Ethan Shepard out there. Nice save by Furman there. Can't keep it in the zone. Over to Ethan Shepard. Over to McAbee. Moves over to Lavish. Lavish dumps it to Harrison. Harrison skates it up. Push off the puck. Turnover. Cortland skates it out. Tries to get there. Ethan Shepard has it on his stick. Looking, dumps it up to Harrison. Tries to get it to Bianco. Can't. Shepard kicks it with the skate. Lavish clears it. Bianco skates it. Dumps it over to Harrison. Harrison dumps it back over to Lavish. Cortland gets it, dumps it deep. McAbee putting pressure on the right in front. Furman gets the goal. Cortland. Bianco takes the draw. Got Bianco, Rapley, Malzak, Silsby, and Pierce out there. Bianco comes out with it. Skates it. He's got 2-on-1 with Malzak. Whiffs on the pass. Rapley there. Malzak to Malzak. Back to Silsby at the point. Over to Malzak. Goes over to Joe Pierce. Joe Pierce dumps it down to Bianco. Tries to get it back to Pierce. Gets out of the zone. Cortland going for a change. Pierce has it behind the net. Dumps it over to Silsby. Silsby looks. Back to Pierce. Back to Silsby. A little too off the stick. Over to Rapley. Gets it out of the zone. Bianco putting pressure on. Silsby has it. Pierce. Pierce skates with it. Tries to get it over Bianco. Gets knocked down by the defender. Pierce meets him at the blue line. Silsby skates with it. Back over to Pierce. Malzak has it. Tries to get it to Bianco. Can't. Offside. Coming. They clear it. Pierce has it. Malzak has it. Gets tripped. No call. Silsby skates it. Dumps it deep. Rapley chasing. White chasing. Doris on the ice. Turned over at the blue line. Shot from the blue line. Furman knocks it down. Pierce has it. Skates with it. Dumps it back to Doris. Tries to get it to Malzak. Malzak has it. Skates it. Mason Little coming on the ice. Cole Furman. Coming to the board. White's there. Little. Cortland comes out with it. Skates it. Noah rolling on the ice. Put it in the boards. Tries to clear, can't. White after it. Doris has it in the corner. Sitting to the boards. Cleared. Rolling, coming out, skating up. Shot. Glove save. Nick Doris, Cole Furman, Mason Little, Noah Rowland, and Tristan White out there. Get it out of the zone. Moves over to Doris. Doris looks to White. White has it at the midline. Little putting pressure on. Roland has it. Skates it back. Over to Doris. Back to Furman. To Doris. Off his stick. Kept in by Cortland. Roland coming after it. Tries to clear. He does. White chasing it down. Mazzio. Terrell on the ice. Chris Pierce on the ice. Cooper Fallon on the ice. Icing. Mazzio, Fallon, Terrell, Chris Pierce, and Brady Saban out there. Pierce keeps in shot on goal. Just wide off the goalie's stick. Mazzio dumps it deep. Cooper Fallon has it behind the net. Terrell pressures him behind the net. They dump it over to the corner. Cortland skating out with it. Terrell pins him against the board, keeps it in. Fallon dumps it to the corner. Pokes it around. Mazzio in the corner after it. Cortland comes out with it, skating it out. Dumps it deep. Fallon hits him. Pierce tries to get out, can't. Fallon tries to get out, can't get there either. Tries to dump in the middle, saving hits with a stick. Shot, wide. Fallon gets it. Tries to get up to Mazzio. Mazzio sticks it at the blue line. Tries to clear it, can't. Mazzio skates out with it. Mazzio skating up. Gets it in the zone. Gets out to Saban. Saban takes a shot right front. Goal. Glove save. Mazzio backhand. Glove save. Cooper Lee takes a draw. Got Cooper Lee, Garrett Watley, Liam Mathis, Stella Irons, Jacob McAbee out there. Lee tips it up. Cortland dumps it deep. McAbee after it. Over to Irons. Irons has it in the corner. Tries to get up to Lee. Lee pokes it, can't get it out. Over to Irons. Dumps it back. McAbee has it. Dumps up the boards. Go too far for Wiley. Wiley gets put into the boards. Corner has mid ice. Passes it back. Dumps it over. Tries to get it. Skates it in. McAbee after it in the corner. Dumps it over to Irons. Irons skates it up. Dumps it to Wiley. Wiley has it. Mid ice. Poke stepped away. Mathis dumps it deep. Ryan Shapper. Will rapidly on the ice. Rapid, good defensive play there. Shapper tries to get out of the zone. He does. Going to try to keep it in. Malzak on the ice. Malzak comes out with it. Goes by one guy. Got 2-on-1 with Ryan Shapper. Dumps over to Ryan Shapper. Back in. Goal! Ryan Shapper goal from Brock Malzak. Shapper, Rapley, Malzak, Chris, and Joe Pierce on defense. Nobody back. Cortland on a breakaway. Furman. Shot way high. Rapley has it. Skates it back. Comes out behind the net. Some speed. Over to Shapper. Over to Malzak. Caught at his feet. Shapper pushes him off the puck. Over to Rapley. Malzak gets in the zone. Skates it behind. Turns. Over to Shapper. Back to Malzak. Cortland dumps up off the pad. Chris Pierce keeps it in. Dumps it deep. Shoots up the boards. Pierce is there at the blue line. Pierce has it. Shot off the back behind the net. Malzak steals it behind the net at their feet. Can't get it. Cortland comes out with it. Malzak coming back on D. Pokes away. Wide with a shot. Rapley has it. Gets it in the boards. Gets it up. Icing. Mason Little. Tristan White. Saved by Furman. Tristan White. Noel Rowland. Brady saving Rocco Silsby. Furman saves it. Silsby gets it over. Passes it over to Saban. Saban has it on a stick. To Rowland. Tips it in. Mason Little putting pressure on. Puts him in the boards. White comes out with it. To Little. Back to the point. Saban. Over to Silsby. Over to Little. Shot. Oh, just off the post. Lifts the stick. Rowland keeps it in. Skates it. Saban poke checks it away. White has it. Back to Silsby. Over to Saban. Gets it to Little at mid-ice. Little skates it up. Dumps it deep. Mazzio, Terrell, Fallon on the ice. Moves over to Silsby. Back to Saban. Saban has it. Tries to get to Fallon. A little too far. No ice. Tipped at the midline. Terrell putting on. Terrell battle in the corner. Kicks it over to Cooper Fallon. Fallon tries to skate by. Can't. It's at their feet. Lifts it out. Over to Doris. Doris and Furman on the ice. Over to Furman to Doris. Gets up to Mazzio. Mazzio tips it forward to Fallon. Fallon skates it in. Shot. Covers it up. Maggio, Terrell, Fallon, Doris, and Furman out there. Cortland dumps it deep. Doris tries to lift the stick. Can't. Fallon, Terrell kicks it back. Furman after it. Over to Terrell. Terrell has it. Tries to tip the head to Mazzio. Cooper Fallon gets it. Cortland tries to tip it back. Fallon dumps it back. Nobody home. Cortland skating out with it. Doris and Furman back. Poke check by Doris. Clears the zone. Fallon has it. Tries to dump deep. Can't. Gets in the zone. Cortland tips it ahead. Owen Harrison on the ice. Doris takes it away from him. Back to Doris. It's hit from behind. Terrell putting pressure against the boards. Defender tries to lift the stick. Furman has it. Loses at his feet. Harrison poke chucks it away. Out to the point. Maggio comes to the point. Shot off Furman. Cole Furman knocks it down. Furman tries to clear his own. Does. Ice. Larkin Bianco, Lucas Lavish, Owen Harrison, Jacob McAbee, and Ethan Shepard out there. Saved by Furman off the blocker. Shepard tips it to the corner. Over to Lavish. Back to Shepard. Shepard goes down. Harrison gets hit from behind. Skates in with it. Block McAbee out front. Tries to tip it up. Bianco misses the kid. Harrison comes out with it. Pushed off of that mid-ice. Bianco putting pressure on. Dumps up, nobody home. Ethan Shepard has it. Moves over to McAbee. McAbee moves it to Lavish. Lavish has mid-ice. Off his stick. Ethan Shepard has it. Over to McAbee. Gets to Lavish. Back to Shepard. To Bianco. Bianco moves it over to Harrison. Harrison has it. Blue line dumps it deep. Bianco chasing after it. Dumps it back around. Lavish behind the net. Cortland swings it back around. Off McAbee's stick. Cortland dumps it deep. Shepard after it in the corner. Harrison clears his own to mid-ice. Cortland comes out with it. They dump it deep. Lavish tries to clear his own. He does. Ryan Shepard on the ice. Lavish dumps it deep. Malzak, Joe Pierce, Chris Pierce, Ryan Shepard, and Rapley out there. Chris Pierce has it over to Joe. A little too far. Tries to dump in front, nobody home. Rapley dumps it back. Pierce has it. Dumps it up to Malzak. Tries to get the Shepard, can't. Rapley comes out with it. Rapley skating it in. Shot off the glove. Rapley gets it back. Dumps it out to the point. Joe Pierce dumps it back to Rapley. Tries to get out. Ryan Shepard keeps it in. Cortland clears. Icing. Goalie change. Peyton Dettori in the game. Cortland tries to clear. Can't. Malzak has it. Skates by one guy. Tries to dump it in front. Can't get there. It's at the feet. Rapley comes up with it. Tries to get a shot. Can't. Cortland comes out with it. Pierce. A little too far for Chris. Chris chasing in the corner. Cortland wide open in front. Peyton Dettori, good save. Malzak comes out with it. Skating it up. Rapley off the blocker. Gets it in the corner. Skates through the hit. Gets it out to Pierce. Pierce has it. Shot off the goalie's glove. Oh, what a save. Glove save. Mason Little, Tristan White, Noah Rowland, Brady Saban, and Rocco Silsby out there. Get out front. Can't get a shot off. It's at the feet. Cortland comes out of the clear zone. Cortland skates it in. Rowland tips it away. Cortland dumps it deep. Silsby after it. Behind the net. Over to White. Tries to get it over to Noah Rowland. He's a little too far. Rowland pressure. Cortland dumps up here at the boards. Over to Silsby. Settles it. Skates it to White. To Rowland. Back to Silsby. Tries to get the Little too far. Dumps it deep. Go! Cortland. Terrell, Mazzio, Phelan, Doris, and Furman out there. Cortland dumps it deep. Doris after in the corner. Tries to clear, can't. Cortland keeps it in. Over to Mazzio. Mazzio has it. Tries to get up to Phelan. Phelan at mid-ice. One-on-one. Skating it in. Tries to skate through. Can't. Cortland clears. Icing. Mazzio wins the face-off off Terrell's skate. Up in the corner. Mazzio has it in the corner. Skates out the corner with it. Mid-ice. Furman shot. Just wide. Cortland skates back behind the net. Dumps it over to the corner. Terrell putting pressure on the corner. Tries to clear it. Off Mazzio's skate. Off a stick. To Phelan. Phelan skates out with it. Over to Furman. Furman has it. Shot. Redirected by Mazzio. Just up off the goalie's pad. Phelan has it behind the net. Dumps it out to Furman. Gets to Phelan. Furman gets it out of the zone. Brings it back out. Tries to skate it through. Can't. Doris has it. Skates through. Dumps it deep. Owen Harrison comes up the bench. Tries to loft it over. Doris gets there. Clears it. Bianco on the ice. Bianco, Harrison, Mazzio, Furman, and Doris. Stella Irons comes on. Poke checked away by Mazzio. Tries to get it up to Harrison a little too far. No ice. Harrison after it. Dumps it down to Bianco. Cortland skates out with it. Labus putting pressure on. Labus steals it. Dumps it back to Ethan Shepard. Ethan Shepard skating with it. Pushed off the puck. Owen Harrison putting pressure on. Cortland dumps it in front. Nobody home. Bianco skating after it. Bianco lifts it up into the bench. Harrison, Labus, Bianco, Irons, and Ethan Shepard out there. Labus gets it deep. Goalie plays behind the net. Off Labus' stick. Irons tries to lift. Harrison shot wide. Malzak on the ice. Ethan Shepard keeps it in. Labus comes in to help. At his feet, dumps it deep. Cortland skates it out. Poke check by Lavish. Cortland tries to dump deep. Malzak gets it out of the air over to Harrison. Harrison has it. Kid misses a hit. Is down on the ice. Gets back up. Irons tries to keep it in. She does. Over to Ryan Shepard off the ice. Bar down. Goal. Shepard from Harrison and Malzak. Malzak comes out with it. Malzak, Rapley, Shepard, and the Pierce brothers. Joe keeps it deep. Rapley in the corner. Over to Malzak, front of the net. Goalie hits it away. Rapley comes out with it. Gets hit. Penalty. Penalty on Rapley. Not sure what that call was, but penalty on Rapley. Power play for Cortland. Malzak, Ryan Shepard, Pierce brothers out there. Cortland moves it over. Point skating through. Tries to get in front. Covered by Vittoria. Mazio and Terrell on the ice. Pierce is out there off Terrell's shin pad. Terrell with some pressure. Cortland skates it in over the net. Penalty. Penalty on Chris Pierce, Terrell, Silsby, Mazio out there. Tries to get in front. Picked up by Silsby, clears the zone. Cortland skates it out. Mazio back. Terrell putting a little pressure on. Shot. Glove save, Victoria. Start of the second half. Bianco, Silsby, Joe Pierce out there. Chris Pearson, Will Rapley still in the box for another minute 5, minute 38. Cortland skates in the corner. Pierce stick checks, puts him in the boards. Puts over the other, tries to hit it deep. Does. Pierce tries to clear. Can't, up in the air. Cortland comes out with it. Pierce lifts the stick. In the corner out to the blue line. Bianco pressure off his skate. Bianco's skating out with it. Bianco's going on him 1-on-1. Skates behind the net. Just dumps it deep. Smart play. 35 seconds is minute 9. Cortland skates it in. Goes behind the net. Pierce there. Comes behind the net. Cortland has it. Dumps it out to the top of the circle. Moves it over to the other circle. 11 seconds left in the penalty. First penalty. Dumps over. Silsby in the corner. Has it. Clears it. 5 seconds left. 35 seconds left in the second penalty. Rapley on the back out. Mazio and Rapley out. Or Malzak and Rapley, sorry. Skates it in. Shot. Vittoria. Save. Furman, Doris, Rapley, and Malzak. Furman gets it out of the zone. Malzak pressure at the mid-ice. 11 seconds left in the penalty. Furman has it. Can't get it out. Rapley tries to get it out. Can't. Keeps it at the blue line. Dumps it deep. Even strength. Tristan White on the ice. Oh, no, sorry, Ryan Shepard. Malzak skates it in. Shepard on the corner. Gives it back to Shepard. Over to Malzak. Oh, just a little too far. Malzak gets it out to Furman at the blue line. Furman has it. Tries to get it over to Shepard. Can't. Gets blocked down by the defender. Furman has it. Mid-ice. Turns it over to Cortland. Cortland skates it in. Shepard putting pressure on from behind. Cortland skates it out. Shepard, Rapley put pressure on at the boards here in front of us. Over to Malzak. Penalty. Malzak, Rapley, Ryan Shepard, Silsby, and Chris Pierce. Silsby over to Shepard. At his feet, Shepard dumps to Rapley behind the net. Rapley off his stick. Moves out to Shepard. Top of the circle, goes by one guy. Dumps it over to Malzak. Back to Shepard. Back to the point for Silsby. Silsby has it. Shot. Redirected just wide. Tries to get it out. They do. Goes all the way down. Vittori out. Play it. Silsby after it. Gets put it in the boards. Tries to get it to Rapley. Offsides. Back down to Silsby. Over to Pierce. Skates up with it. Skates it in. Tries to dump it over. Gets blocked by the defender. Cortland clears. Back to blue line. Rapley has it. Over to Silsby. Back to Rapley. Tries to get it over to Malzak. Can't. Back to Rapley at the blue line. Malzak Hits him in the boards. Behind the net, Vittoria has it. Pierce has it. Skates it up. Tries to get it up. Silsby can't. Takes a shot. Gets in the zone. Over to Silsby. Back to Pierce. Pierce has it behind the net. 45 seconds left. Over to Ryan Schapper at the blue line. Skates it up. Tries to get over to Malzak. Bounces over a stick. Malzak still keeps it. Skates in the zone. Shot. Glove save. Mazzio, Fallon, Furman, White, and Doris out there. 19 seconds left on the penalty. Furman skates it in. Tries to go by one guy. Stick lifted behind the net. Oh, puts it off the corner, off the post there. 9 seconds left. Tori out to play it. Doris skates with it. Back to even. Dumps it up to Mazzio. Gets it deep. Tries to get out of the zone. Doris tries to keep it in. Can't. Cortland skating back. Furman back. White lifts the stick. Furman puts a plate on him. Penalty. Two minutes for Furman and White. Joe and Chris Pierce out there with Larkin Bianco. 5-on-3 for the next 2 minutes. Cortland moves it over to the blue line. Skates it in, top of the circle. Chris has it. Tries to clear, does. Bianco chasing it. Goalie comes out to play for Cortland behind the net. Cortland comes out with it, 4-on-2, come the other way. Skates it back out, dumps it over, keeps it in. Bianco, nice poke check there. Pierce tries to clear, can't, kept in at the point. Oh, pass intercepted by Bianco. Bianco skating out the other way. Shot, high and wide. Terrell on the ice. Terrell and the Pierce brothers out there. Shot, Detoria, stick save. Back to the point. Chris tries to get out, can't. Goes back behind the net. Joe Pierce puts him in the boards. 31 seconds left in the penalties. Behind the net. Pierce tries to clear. Does. Terrell chasing after it. 17 seconds left. Cortland skates it in. Shot wide. Keeps it in the zone. Even strength. Penalties are over. Rapley and Ryan Schapper on the ice. Deflected by Pierce in front. Vittoria save. Oh, it's loose. Whistle blue. They're still playing. Going for ice. Brian Shepard, Cole Furman, Will Rapley, Brock Malzak, and Nick Doris on the ice. Shot, Doris off the skate. Malzak tips it up, tries to get it himself, can't. It's out of the zone, offsides, delayed. Furman has it. Over to Rapley, it's picked off by Cortland. Cortland dumps it deep, chasing after it, Doris in the corner. Rapley pressure behind the net, wide open up front. Vittoria saves it. Shot wide off Doris' stick, clears it. Icing. Chase Adams in the net now for the Bulls. Bianco, Little, White, Maccabee, and Sabin out there. Offsides, Cortland. Little wins the draw. Shot wide. Cortland comes out with it, skates it up. Maccabee whiffs on it. Cortland keeps it in. Wolves try to clear, can't. Maccabee has it. Sabin takes it, skates behind the net, skates it up. Tries to get it to Little off his stick. Little lifts a stick, steal by Bianco. Can't chase it down. Cortland takes it behind the net. Tries to get in front, Sabin off his skates. Cortland dumps it deep. Maccabee after it. Dumps up the boards. To the point, shot. Deflected wide. Bulls try to get it out, can't. Cortland has it at the point. Shot. Glove save, Adams. Bulls win the face-off. Interference on Cortland. Power play for the Bulls. Silsby dumps to the corner to Rapley. Rapley gets over to Ryan Schapper. Malzak chasing in the corner. Silsby keeps it in. Cortland clears. Chris Pierce, Rocco Silsby, Brock Malzak, Will Rapley, and Ryan Schapper out there. Pierce dumps it back over to Malzak. Malzak skates it back behind the net. Comes up with a head of steam. Put it into the boards. Cortland dumps it deep. Behind the net. Silsby has it. To Pierce. Off Rapley's stick. Cortland dumps it deep again. Adams plays it off his stick to Silsby. Skates it. Stops with it. Skates it up. A little too far for Schapper, but Malzak's there. Tries to get to Schapper. Can't. Rapley at his feet. Moves it to Silsby. Silsby looks. Over to Pierce. Pierce gets it deep. Pressure on the boards. Brock out to the point. Silsby. Shot. Deflected just wide. Over to Pierce in the corner. Pierce gets it to Schapper. Back to Pierce. Moves out to Rapley at the point. Shot off the skate of Cortland. They dump it deep. Rapley going after the pressure. Cortland going for a change. Dump it behind the net. 21 seconds left in the penalty. Silsby has it. Looks. Has Mazzio coming off the bench. Can't handle it. It's at his feet. Mazzio skates it. Tries to get it. Oh, Rapley gets knocked down at the blue line. Mazzio pressure. 3 seconds left. Cortland dumps it deep. Back to even strength. Silsby has it behind the net. Fallon on the ice. Hits White coming off the bench. White's going in. 2-on-1 with Mazzio. Comes over to Mazzio. Mazzio shoots off the back of the net. White has it in the corner. Mazzio back to White. Back to Mazzio. Tries to get out to the point. Furman's out there. Furman keeps it deep. Somebody loses the stick. Mazzio has it. Hits it behind the net. White has it. Put it into the boards. Pierce tries to keep it in. They flick it over his stick. Cortland coming the other way. Shot. Save Adams. Harrison, Labish, Terrell, Doris, and Furman out there. Harrison tries to get to Terrell a little too much. Oh, shot from the point. Oh. Bulls win the draw. Terrell dumps it deep. Terrell, Labish, Harrison, Furman, and Doris out there. Labish a little too high for Terrell. Doris chases in the corner, tries to keep it deep, does. Labish up front, Terrell just wide. Cortland tries to clear, they do. Furman has it, over to Doris. Moves it back, turns it over at the blue line. Cortland skates in, just wide. Tries to get it back in front, can't. Labish clears. Harrison chasing. Terrell chasing. Dumps up it. Labish ticks it over to Furman. Can't get there. Cortland tries to tip ahead. Can't. Comes out with it at the midline. Dumps it deep. Off Adams' stick. Doris has it. Skates it. A little too far for Harrison. Cortland takes it back. Labish, good stick there. Breaks it up. Cortland has a quarter, dumps in front, nobody home. Out of the zone. Lofts it too high. Harrison has it. Over the door, tries to get a lob, but Lofts gets it deep. Cooper Lee on the ice. Garrett Watley, Stella Irons, Jacob McAbee. Irons has it. Tries to get it to Watley, a little too far. Cortland tries to clear it. McAbee tries to keep it in. Well, Coop can't keep it in. Cortland dumps it deep all the way around. Can't handle it. Watley. Mathis clears it out of the zone. Cortland comes back with it. Offsides. Ryan Shepard, Will Rapley, Brock Malzak, and Joe and Chris Pierce out there. Off Shepard's stick, dumps it in front. Oh, nice play by Pierce. Rapley skates it out. Cortland gets it, turns it in, dumps it deep. Chris Pierce after in the corner. Dumps it over to Joe Pierce. Back to Chris. Chris skating. Over to Shepard. Shepard has it. Tries to get it over Rapley. Turned over at the midline. Flipped up. Cortland skates it in. Shepard has it, dumps it back to Rapley. Pierce tries to get it back to Shepard a little too. Cortland dumps it deep. Joe drops it back to Chris. Chris has it. Rapley goes down. Shepard hit from behind. Puts him in the boards. Chris gets it over to Rapley. Rapley takes a hit. To Joe Pierce, all the way up to Rapley. Rapley has it. Skates with it. Offsides. Mason Little. Whips face off back to Furman. Furman dumps it around. White has it in the corner. Bianco's out there and Doris. Dumps it back. Little putting pressure on against the boards. Little keeps it in. Out to mid ice. Furman has it. Skates it back. Over to Doris. Back to Furman. Furman knocks it deep. Cortland comes out. Icing. Little wins face off. Bianco shot off the pads. White has it behind the net. Tries to get in front. Can't. Nobody home. Furman has it. Moves over to Doris. Goes over his stick. Doris dumps it deep. Bianco can't handle it. Cortland sends it on the board. White putting pressure on. Out to Furman. Shot up the defender's skates. Cortland skates out with it. Good hustle by Mason Little. Gets him from behind. Furman skates behind the net. Played offsides. Offsides. Mazzio, Rowland, Fallon, Saban, and Silsby out there. Cortland gets in the zone, dumps it deep. Saban putting pressure on, goes for the hit, misses him, goes into the boards. It's at his feet. Fallon comes in to help. Comes out of the scrum. Silsby gets it, tries to dump up Mazzio. Kicked by the Cortland player. Into the corner, Saban has it. Pinned at his feet. Fallon comes out with it over to Mazzio. Turn it over. Adams slides it away. Silsby up the boards. Rolling, pressure. Mazzio pressure. Cortland tries to get it out. Over Saban's stick. Goes all the way down. Icing. Harrison wins the draw over to Labus, goes back to McAbee. McAbee shoots it deep. Terrell putting pressure on. Ethan Shepard also out there. Pressure in the corner, pin against the boards. Harrison's battle for it. Cortland comes out with it. Good stick by Labus. Labus shoots over the goalie's glove. He dumps it deep. Labus putting pressure on behind the net. Pins the kid against the boards. They both go down. Terrell after it. Cortland skates out with it. Moves it over. Shot. Off Adams. Good save. Off Adams' pads. Champer goes down. Kick deep. McAbee tries to get to Harrison. Harrison comes out with it. Tries to clear. Cortland guy keeps it in. Save Adams. Terrell sends it up the boards. Cortland tries to dump it in front. Can't. Labus gloves it, puts it down, tries to skate it out. Turned over to Cortland. Cortland tries to dump it. Dump behind the net. McAbee after it in the corner. Over to Harrison. Harrison poke check. Gets it out of the zone. Cortland dumps it, nobody home. Icing. Ryan Shepard wins the faceoff. Oh, Pierce deflected off Shepard's stick in the net. Chris Pierce to Shepard. Ryan Shepard, Will Rapley, Malzak, and Chris and Joe Pierce. Chris passes over Joe to Shepard at mid-ice. Shepard skates it in. Tries to skate through one. Goes by the net. Dumps it back to Rapley. Off the Chris, shot. Redirected in front, just past the goalie. Just wide. Cortland clears. Chris Pierce back. Dumps up to Rapley. Dumps to the Shapper. Tries to get the Pierce. Pierce gets in the zone. Melzak goes down. Pierce has it. Off the shin pad. Joe Pierce keeps it in, dumps it deep. Rapley after it in the corner. Over to Malzak. Malzak has it. Back to Chris Pierce. Shot. Just wide. Joe Pierce has it below. Dumps it over to Shapper. Shapper has it. Pierce goes down. Shapper in front. Nobody home. Over to Pierce in the corner. Tries to move to Malzak. Gets out of the zone. Joe skates it in. Dumps to Rapley. Tries to get the Shapper in front. Shot by Chris off the post. Shapper in the corner. Cortland tries to clear, can't. Malzak keeps it in, dumps it around. Shapper after it. Shapper dumps it deep. Cortland keeps it deep. Chris Pierce after it. Maggio tries to get it to Rapley. Christian White on the ice. Maggio, good play at the blue line. Terrell on the ice. Cortland skating the other way. Shot off the post. Chris Pierce gets it out. Tries to move it to Terrell. Terrell gets it back to Chris. Chris skates it in. Shot off the goalie stick. Terrell has it. Dumps it around behind net. Maggio chasing in the corner. Skates by one guy. Cortland dumps it up. Joe Pierce trying to keep it in. Does. Lifts it up. Cortland player kicks it around. Pressured by White. Taken away by Maggio. Over to White. Pierce goes down. Silsby on the ice. Back to White. Skating it up. Turns it over at the red line. Adams kicks to the side. Dumps it over to Joe Pierce. Joe Pierce has it. Gets it to Silsby. Silsby has it. Dumps it up. Tries to get it to Maggio a little too far. Terrell putting pressure on. Oh, turned over the blue line. Maggio skates it in. A little too far to handle. Cortland comes out with it. Oh, good stick by Joe. Off the pad of Adams. Silsby tries to get it out. White does. It's at his feet. Lifts the stick. Puts it at the point. Shot. Glove save, Adams. Back to Silsby. Silsby gets it. Tries to get it to Bianco. Bianco's skating out with it. Bianco brings it up. Bianco, Little, Phelan, Saban, and Silsby. Tries to get it out. Can't. Phelan has it in the corner. Bianco gets behind the net. Tries to get to Silsby. Chipped up. Silsby keeps it in at his feet. Tries to dump it in front to Little, but can't get there. Tries to keep it in. Saban back. Shot. Save Adams. Save again by Adams on the side of the net. Get it out. Saban skating it. Dumps it up. Tries to get it to Little. Off his stick. Fallon putting pressure on. Over saving stick. Back to Silsby. Moves it over to Little. Off his stick into the zone. 11 seconds left. Rocco keeps it in. Goes, makes one guy miss, dumps in front, saves shot. Oh, just off the bottom. Final exhibition game, home opener tomorrow night at the Farm.